TheServants.
Shabbat Shalom. This your brother Eli with TheServants with me.
This is your brother Paul.
Hey, coming at y'all with another Sabbath day lesson, man. And you know, today we're going into something slightly different. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following along and watching with us, we just went into history with idolatry. We're going to do Most High Willing part 3 and 4, another Shabbat. But this week we're going to touch on something more important. Coming into the Passover and realizing who we are. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us getting hit with different trials in this walk, right? And with that, we're trying to prepare ourselves. So as we're going through these different trials and many obligations, some might be new to the faith. So like you might be finding out that you're an Israelite, right? So with that, you have to realize that being an Israelite, there's certain things that gonna happen to you. Certain things you must overcome and certain things you must fulfill, right? And the name of this exhortation or this Shabbat lesson will be a servant's portion. So this topic today will be on the servant's portion. We're going to look through the Bible and find out who the servant is and what portion that the Lord has for his servant, right? So with that, read what you got.
Comes the book of Psalms, chapter 118 and verse 24.
Right.
This is the day which Yahweh hath made.
Right.
We will rejoice and be glad in it.
So the scriptures say this is the day which Yahweh has made, and we're going to be rejoicing and be glad in it. What day is it referring to, as we always touch on? Read that.
This is Exodus chapter 31 and verse 16. Wherefore the children of Israel shall keep the Sabbath.
Shall do what?
Shall keep the Sabbath.
So the day that we referencing to is the Sabbath day. Read.
To observe the Sabbath throughout their generations.
And we are to observe the Sabbath, keep the Sabbath in the way that the Lord told us to keep the Sabbath throughout our generation. You look on the world today, the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are still generating on this earth. So as long as our bloodline is generating on the earth, we are commanded to keep the Sabbath. Why? Read.
For a perpetual covenant.
Right.
It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever.
And the Lord said it's a sign between him and our forefathers and us forever. So as long as the Israelites on earth, the Sabbath will be being kept, and we're going to keep it with all joyfulness and gladness and reverence of it, right? So with that, no further ado, let's get into this topic, right? So a servant's portion, right? So real quick, give me the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 55.
Because the book of Leviticus chapter 25 and verse 35.
55.
Oh, 55. So and it reads, For unto me the children of Israel are servants. Right. They are my servants, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt. I am Yahweh your power.
Right. So real quick, I want you to gonna look up this definition. I want you to read off what the definition is from and then give me the definition. So we just read, this is a servant's portion. So first I want to start it off with this, right?
This is the KJV dictionary definition of servant.
Right.
A person, male or female, that attends another for the purpose of performing menial offices for him.
Right.
OT, who is employed by another for such offices or for other labor, and is subject to his command. The word is correlative to master. Servant differs from slave, as the servant's subjection to a master.
What did Paul say?
As the servant's subjection to a master is voluntary.
Is what?
Is voluntary.
So the servants of the Lord and the Israelites are the servants who we voluntarily serve and give our lives for the Lord, right? So now, let's hit on that. All right, so now let's read that Leviticus 25, 55 again.
Come on, this is the book of Leviticus chapter 25, verse 55 again. For unto me the children of Israel are servants.
Right.
They are my servants, right, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt.
Right.
I am Yahweh your power.
And he is Yahweh our power. So the Israelites are the servants of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Give me the book of Acts chapter 16, verse 17. I'm going to show you different examples in the scriptures when our forefathers was referenced as servants. But we served ourselves for Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, right? So let's show through the Bible our forefathers being described as servants to show you that this is voluntary labor, right? Read that.
Comes the book of Acts chapter 16 verse 17. The same followed Paul and us and cried, saying, these men are the servants of the Most High God.
What?
These men are the servants of the Most High God, which show unto us the way of salvation.
We show the way of salvation. Now get the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse number 21. So when you look at the definition we just brought up, right, you're going to read in there that it said we will voluntarily serve. We volunteer this. Service is different from a slave, right? So watch this. Read that.
Come on, this is 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 21.
Uh-huh.
Art thou called being a servant?
Right.
Care not for it.
Right.
But if thou mayest be made free, use it rather.
Right.
For he that is called in the Lord, being a servant, is the Lord's freeman.
Is the Lord's who?
Freeman.
So when you call a servant by the Lord, you are the Lord's free man. Read.
Likewise also, he that is called being free is Hamashiach Yahweh's servant.
And you are Yahweh's servant. So with that, being a servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh and being an Israelite, it's a mighty thing, right? And with this, there's a certain portion of life that comes with this, right? Give me Isaiah 33, Amos 3 and 7. You know, because it's a blessing. There's blessings, and then there's also other parts of being a servant, right? So being a servant of the Lord is just not going to always be peaches and creams, right? It's levels to it, right? Watch this. Amos chapter 3 and verse 7.
Comes the book of Amos chapter 3 and verse number 7. Surely the Lord God will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets.
So the Lord says not only that, but the information and the wisdom that he brings and puts and sets on the earth, he said he's not going to do it except he said it by his servants first, which are who? The prophets, which will be the Israelites, right? Give me Isaiah 33 verse 6. The book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse number 6. Because the Lord said he won't do nothing, but he's going to reveal what he brings out to his servants, the prophets, right? Read, watch this.
It's the book of Isaiah chapter 33 and verse number 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy
Start in
time.
verse 5.
Come, verse 5. Yahweh is exalted,
Right.
for he dwelleth on high.
Right.
He hath filled Zion with judgment and righteousness.
And the Lord has filled Zion with judgment and righteousness through who? His servants, the prophets, the servants. You mighty brothers and you mighty sisters who go in and out, week in and week out, serving the Lord, keeping his Sabbath day, keeping his feast days. You are the ones who have, the Lord has filled Zion with righteousness and judgment, right? Read.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times.
And the wisdom and the knowledge that the Lord brings and gives to his servants shall be the stability of these times. Because why? The times that we living in today are evil. It's all type of judgments going on, a whole lot of threats of wars going on. And who is the Lord revealing what nations is going to do what to? He's revealing it to the Israelites. When you read about famines coming in the news and in articles, right? Who prophesied first that famines was coming? It was the Israelites. When you think about the countries that's going to turn against Babylon the Great, who were the ones who told you the country that was going to turn against Babylon the Great? The Israelites. When we told you and showed you through scriptures that it was going to be a people portraying to be Yahweh's lineage and descendants and God's chosen people, and the Bible told you different, who came out? And now when you look in research, you look at the scriptures and you look at the world, now who do you see as putting on that image? You know what I'm saying? It's the Edomites, but who told you? The Israelites. So you realize the wisdom and the knowledge in these last days is going to be coming from the Israelites, right? Keep reading.
And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times,
right?
And strength of salvation.
And strength of salvation. So it's important to get wisdom and understanding and knowledge in these last days, because why? It said it shall be the strength of your salvation. So how would this be the strength of your salvation? Give me the book of Acts chapter 14, verse 22. So how will wisdom and knowledge be the strength of your salvation? Read that.
Comes the book of Acts chapter 14 and verse 22.
Right.
Confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith.
Right.
And that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of Yahweh.
So that is a way where wisdom and knowledge will be, you know what I'm saying, you're strengthened into your salvation. Because why? We will be exhorting one another. We'll be motivating each other through scriptures and showing each other the things that must come to pass for what? Our salvation. So this is the benefits of being a servant of the Most High. You get to get the secrets on what the Lord is going to do to the earth, when he's going to do it, and how he's going to do it. And you also get to understand why he's going to do it, right? So get the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18 now. Let's get the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 verse 18. So in this topic today, this exhortation, we're going to show why it's a blessing to be a servant of the Lord, but we also going to show it's certain things as a servant of the Lord we're going to have to overcome, right? Because the Lord not just going to give it to us now. You know what I'm saying? When we had that opportunity, when it was given to our forefather Adam in the garden, what happened? The ball got dropped. So with that, now we have to earn this, right? So get that, Ecclesiastes 1:18.
Comes the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18. For in much wisdom is much grief.
And what?
For in much wisdom is much grief.
So the Lord said, in much wisdom that he's going to give his servants, the prophets, there also is going to be much grief. You're going to have grief with this too, because why? You understand with the scriptures that everybody is not going to get the kingdom. The kingdom is not for everybody. Some of our loved ones are going to die. Some of our loved ones who might be descendants of other races, hey, they got different judgments than we might have. And also knowing that with the grief, you're going to have spouse trouble, family trouble, you know what I'm saying? Business trouble. Is going to be many type of troubles, right? So with that, give me the book of Mark chapter 8, verse 31.
Comes the book of Mark chapter 8 and verse number 31. And again, departing from the coast of Tyre and Zidon, he came unto the sea of Galilee, through the midst of the coast of the Decapolis.
Mark chapter 8, verse 31.
Oh, Salaki, my bad.
So I'm going to stay in the spirit with me.
Come. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders, and of the chief priests and scribes, and be killed, and after 3 days rise again.
Read.
And he spake that saying openly. And Peter took him and began to rebuke him.
So with that, right, you got to understand something, man. Even Yahushua, with much wisdom as he knew, he had grief in the flesh, because why? He had to come and die for the whole nation of Israel. So with that, and with knowing that, you got to understand that what? We going to go through the same thing. Let's get the book of Matthew chapter 20 and verse number 23. So knowing that you are an Israelite, it's a great thing. You know what I'm saying? Happy or weak. You know what I'm saying? Read that.
Comes the book of Matthew chapter 20 and verse 23. And he saith unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with.
So let's get the context. Jump up to verse 20.
Come, verse 20. Then came to him the mother of Zebedee, children with her sons, worshiping him, and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, What wilt thou? She saith unto him, Grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on the right hand and the other on the left, in thy kingdom.
So this mother, man, she asking for a righteous thing. Hey, I want my sons to sit on the throne. I want one on your left, and I want one on your right. Now watch this. Keep reading.
Well, Yahushua answered and said, Ye know not what ye ask.
Right?
Are ye able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?
Right?
They say unto him, We are able.
Read.
And he said unto them, Ye shall drink indeed of my cup, and be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but it shall be given to them for whom it is prepared of my Father.
So we all have to drink of the cup of the Lord. What did the Lord have to come do? He suffered many things on this earth, but he also endured. He also endured everything that he went through, right? So with that, this is the same thing as the servants of the Lord that we're going to have to go through, right? And we're going to go through different segments, Lord willing, of different portions or trials we're going to have to go through as Israelites, right? So first, give me the book of Matthew chapter 10. And then I'm going to show you some of the trials that we have to go through. But first, let me see where I'm going to start there. First, give me give me Ezra. Give me Ezra, no Salaki. My mind rolling, man. Give me the book of Revelation chapter 10 and verse number 11. Because I want to show you this, right? So what did King Solomon tell you in the book of Ecclesiastes? He said, with much wisdom is also grief. With the more the wisdom you learn, you be all excited. But then sometimes when you read certain things that you have to overcome and you have to endure, it can become grieful, right, to your spirit. Right? So, yeah. So read the book of Revelation 10, verse 9.
Come on, it's the book of Revelation, chapter 10 and verse 9. And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book.
Right.
And he said unto me, take it and eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
It's going to make your belly bitter when you begin to digest this, but when you eating this and you receiving it, it's going to taste like honey. It's going to be sweet to your appetite, read.
And I went unto the angel and said unto him, give me the little book. And he said unto me, take it, eat it up, and it shall make thy belly bitter, but it shall be in thy mouth sweet as honey.
And it'll be in your mouth sweet as honey. And this is the same thing with this truth. It's being a servant of the Lord and being an Israelite, right? Let's get the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. Let's get the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 7. And we're going to start at, let me see. Let's start at verse 7.
It's the book of Second. It's the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 6.
Right.
There is also another thing. A city is builded.
A city is building. What city is he speaking about through the Spirit? The city of Zion, the city of David, Jerusalem, Israel, right? Read.
And set upon a broad field.
Right.
And is full of all good things.
Right.
The entrance thereof is narrow.
So the entrance to get to the kingdom of heaven is narrow. This is not going to be a path we can hold hands and skip down the street singing lolly-dolly-dolly to. This is a path where you got to focus. You got to have your mind set on, hey, man, this is not going to be no easy walk, but I have to walk it, right? Read.
And it's set in a dangerous place to fall.
And it's set in a dangerous place to fall. Because why? You're going to have temptations on the left hand. You're going to have temptations on the right hand. Read.
Like as if there were a fire on the right hand, and on the left a deep water.
Read.
And one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Stop right there. Give me Ezekiel 14 and 14. We're going to come back here. What is the Lord telling you? This path that you have to walk to get to this city is going to be so strict and so tough for you, right? He said you're going to have fire on one side, water on the other side. What is that? Different variety of trials. You start leaping off on this end, you can get burnt. You go deep and dip diving on that other end, you can drown. You can drown in what? Doctrines. You know what I'm saying? Certain distractions, music, women, porn, men, different examples, right? And this is why he told you that it should be so narrow that only one man can pass. Read that.
It's Ezekiel chapter 14 and verse 14.
Though
these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it,
right,
they should deliver but their own souls.
He said, so though even Noah, Daniel, and Job in it, they will only be able to save their own souls. Read.
By their righteousness.
By what?
By their righteousness.
So to make it to this city, what is the Lord telling you? You only going to make it to this city on this narrow path of fire and water on both sides by your righteousness, not the righteousness of somebody else. So with that, understanding your portion, this is why you have to lock in and be focused and have your mind set, right? Read. Listen on that. No, let's go back. 7, and now read verse 9.
Come on, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 7 and verse 9. If this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it,
right,
how shall he receive this inheritance?
And how shall he receive this inheritance? So, did God ever give a city to a man for an inheritance? You got to ask yourself that. Did the Lord ever give a man a city for an inheritance? Let's see on that. Hold this. Give me Genesis 6 and 8. Let's see. Exodus. Exodus chapter 6, verse 8.
Now, it's the book of Exodus chapter 6 and verse number 8. And I will bring you into the land, and I will bring you unto the land concerning the which I did swear to give it to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And I will give it you for an heritage. I am Yahweh.
Right.
And Moses spake so unto the children of Israel.
That's all I need on that verse. So the Lord spoke this to the Israelites. So the Lord said he gave the Israelites an inheritance. But now read that verse number 9 again.
If this city now were given unto a man,
Who is the man? The Israelites, the tribe of Israel, the nation of Israel, rather. Read.
for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it,
Right.
how shall he receive this inheritance?
Watch this. The Lord finna verify. Read.
And I said, It is so, Lord. Then said he unto me, Even so also is Israel's portion.
So Israel's portion in life is what you read here in 2nd Ezra chapter 7. What's the topic of this lesson? The servant's portion. Who is the servant of the Lord? The Israelites are. So this is Israel's portion, right? Read.
Because for their sakes I made the world.
Right.
And when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done.
What we just said earlier, read.
Then were the entrances of this world made narrow,
Right.
full of
There
sorrow.
going to be sorrows in this truth. When you come into this truth, there going to be sorrows. We're about to go into different examples of sorrow that you're going to face when you come into this truth. Right? Read.
And travail.
And you're going to have many travailing trials come upon you in your life. Read.
They are but few and evil,
Right.
full of perils, and very painful.
Right. So now stop there. Let's go to the book of Micah chapter 4 and verse 10. So it said it's going to be full of, you know what I'm saying, full of pains, trials, perils. A lot of us is going to lose things, right? Here we go. This is Micah 4 and 10.
So, this is the book of Micah, chapter 4, and verse 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for now shalt thou go forth out of the city,
Right.
and thou shalt dwell in the field, and thou shalt go even to Babylon. There shalt thou be delivered.
Right.
There Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies.
Right. So now it told you we're going to have to be in pain and we're going to have to labor. So to endure this, to get the kingdom, the Lord is saying what? That the Israelites going to have to be in much pain. We're going to have to labor. We're going to have to get our minds and our spirits right. And we're going to have to, you know what I'm saying, be prepared for the things to come.
Right.
Watch this. Give me the book of Micah chapter 7 and verse number 1. In the same chapter.
Come, this is Micah chapter 7 and verse 1. Woe is me,
He said, woe is me, destroyed in my read.
for I am as when they have gathered the summer fruits.
Read.
As the grape gleanings of the vintage, there is no cluster to eat. My soul desires the first ripe fruit.
Right?
The good man is perished out of the earth.
So to do good, the good man is naturally perished out of the earth. Nobody naturally seeking to do good on the earth no more, right? Read on.
The good man is perished out of the earth, and there is none upright among men.
Right.
They all lie in wait for blood.
Right, so jump down to verse 5. Watch this. We going into the sorrow, right? So we going to touch on sorrow, the trial of sorrow that's going to come upon you in this truth. Read.
Verse 5. Trust ye not in a friend, but ye not confidence in a God. Put ye not confidence in a God. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom.
Right, because the woman can turn on you. She can turn on you with certain things that you got going. If you're trying to teach your wife this thing as an Israelite, and your wife might not be fully on this, right? She's going to remember everything wickedly that you've done in the world. When you trying to be Elijah now, and your name was Eric in the world, who is your wife going to look at, right? She going to look at Eric. She's not going to look at you as Elijah. You could have been Moses, and you could be Moses now, Peter, John. Who's she going to look at you like? Man, you still a little Ray from up north. You know what I'm saying, right, Reed?
For the son dishonored the father. The daughter riseth up against her mother.
Right.
The daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house.
And they're going to be people of your own household, right? You know what I'm saying? Read that part again.
For
A
a man's enemies are the men of his own house.
So the Bible say the people who are going to really be your enemy towards you when you first come into this truth is going to be those of your own household, right? So we're going to touch into that a little bit later. We're going to touch into that a little bit later. So it's 3 things you got to look into. When you come into this truth, you're going to have certain trials come at you, man. These are the 3 main trials. You got personal. You're going to have personal trials, right? With certain things that you might used to overcome. You're going to have marital trials if you have a spouse. It's going to be times where the devil jump on you or jump on your spouse, and y'all going to be clashing. Then you're going to have congregational trials, right? So we're going to touch on all 3 of those figures. We're going to touch on all 3 different portions that the Israelites or the servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai gonna face while they in this truth, right? So we're gonna deal with the personal first, right? Give me the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. The book of Job, chapter 1 and verse number 1.
This is the book of Job, chapter 1 and verse 1. There was a man in the land of Uz, whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feared Yahweh, and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters.
Right.
His substance also was 7,000 sheep,
right,
and 3,000 camels, and 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 she-asses, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the east. And his sons went and feasted in their houses.
Jump down to verse 6.
Verse 6. Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them.
So who is this referring to? This is referring to the angels. The angels in the third heaven went to report before the Father. So now, what is this letting you know? If this account took place in the third heaven, how could this just a side note? If this account took place with the angels, the sons of God coming to read that part again, because I want to show a point here. Verse 6 again.
Now there was a day when the sons of Yahweh.
Stop. It said, now there was a day when the sons of God, right? Read.
Came to present themselves before Yahweh.
Right.
And Satan came also among them.
So Satan had to be in the third heavens to be able to do what? Come before Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? You got to think about this. So how could Satan be falling from heaven and on the earth with us today with the third of angels if what? If he was up there with the sons of God, presenting himself before God. So now watch this, keep going.
And Yahweh said unto Satan, Whence thou comest thou? It's like, whence comest thou? Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job?
So now, think about this key point. What did the Lord call Job? His servant, right? Watch this.
That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth Yahweh and escheweth evil. Then Satan answered Yahweh and said, Doeth Job fear God for naught?
So now jump to verse 11. So now what we going into? We showing you how personal trials can affect you through the example of who? We're making the first example about Job. We're going to read about how Job was a man of the Lord. He was a servant of God, right? But when he went to have his trials, it was personal trials. He got affected in his own personal life, right? Jump down to verse 11.
But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. And Yahweh said unto Satan, Behold, all that he hath is in thy power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of Yahweh.
Right, so let's show, we're going to jump through real quick, in and out. You can read this chapter on your own time if you haven't before. But now we're going to show you different things that the Lord took from him, right? Watch this. Verse 13.
And there was a day when his sons and daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house.
Watch this.
And there came a messenger unto Job and said, The oxen were plowing, and the asses feeding beside them.
Right.
And the savings fell upon them, and took them away.
So first he got robbed. The first thing that happened to Job, he got robbed of his food. Read.
And the savings fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants.
So he got servants of his that got murdered. He got crops and he got animals of his that got stolen. Read.
Servants with the edge of the sword, and I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Watch this.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The fire of God is fallen from heaven, and hath burnt up the sheep and the servants, and consumed them. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
So now he lost other parts of his crop, his animals. He lost his sheep now. Fire from heaven came and fell down on Job's sheep and his servants, right? Read.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another, and said, The Chaldeans made out 3 bands, and fell upon the camels, and have carried them away. Yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
Keep going.
While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, Thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness, and smote the four corners of the house. And it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee.
So now look at this. This man basically went broke. All his riches, because when you think about the world in the ancient times, what made you rich? It wasn't no dollar with no man's face on it that made you rich. It was what? Having cattle. Having much cattle and having much land, having servants. You know what I'm saying? Having resources that'll make you survive. That's what made you rich back then. And what are you reading about now? You reading about how step by step, day after day, all these things got stripped from Job. And then to top it off, not only are you losing cattle and resources, you losing your servants as well. The people that you have to pay to work, they getting put to death. So now what? The people who's tending to your flocks, they're getting killed. And then to sum it all up, his children got killed. His children got killed. All the children that Job had died in his house. So now when you think about this, now let's read. Keep going.
Then Job arose and went and rent his mantle and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshipped and said, Naked came I out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return thither.
Right. So now jump to verse 22.
And all this Job sinned not.
So in all these trials that Job went through as a servant of Yahweh, it said that Job sinned not. So just think about that. Through real personal trial, how many of us today, you got to ask yourself, can lose it all in a week? You lose it all in a week or in a month's time, and in all that, and the Lord kills your kids. And in all that, you decide to bless the name of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai and decide not to sin. And through all that, you sin not. That's the type of example that Job set for us that we should follow and pattern ourselves after. When everything gets stripped from you, how you going to deal, right? Wow, now watch this. Now, there's going to be another time, right, when your personal trials, it's not just going to be where trials come up on you for a moment, and then after that, you good now. No more trials to the kingdom. You know what I'm saying? Watch this. Read verse 1 in chapter 2.
Come on, verse 1, chapter 2. Again, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before Yahweh, and Satan came also among them to present himself before Yahweh.
So now you got to think about this, man. He didn't went and tried. You would think like, golly, how much can this man Satan do to me? At this point, man, you done took everything from me, man. And some of us might what? We might lose families. You know what I'm saying? You might lose your job. You might lose your truck. You might get evicted. You might go homeless. And in your mind, you might be like, bro, I might as well just go and be dead. You know what I'm saying, right? Watch this.
And Yahweh said unto Satan, From whence comest thou? And Satan answered Yahweh and said, From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it.
Now watch this. Read verse 3.
And Yahweh said unto Satan, Hast thou considered my servant Job?
Right.
That there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feared Yahweh and eschewed evil.
So why do we keep reading these certain parts where God is giving a good report on behalf of Job to Satan, right? And the reason why we are doing this is because what? We are showing you that this same thing happens to each and every one of us. There comes a day in the heavens where counsel be made about you. It be made about us. And you know, the Lord said, have you considered my servant so-and-so? What about my servant so-and-so? They fear me, they love me, and they're going to eschew evil. They're not condoning in the other wicked captivity. And Satan says, well, you know, if we do this to him, we do that to him, we do that to him, we do that to him, what'll happen? We'll go off. That's what the devil does. So what does God do? He allows him to try us to show how much we love him and have faith in him. Because why? This is our portion as Israelites and servants of the Lord. Keep reading.
And still he holdeth fast his integrity.
He still what?
Holdeth fast his integrity.
And no matter what you put on Job, Job holds fast his integrity. What is that telling you we should do? We should pattern after Job. And when evils come upon you, don't sin. Keep your integrity. That's what this fight is all about. Because there's many other things that's going to come on us and overtake us. Right? Read.
Although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause.
And although the devil's going to try to have the Most High to destroy us without cause, you still have to do what? Keep your integrity. Keep going.
And Satan answered Yahweh and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man hath will he give for his life.
Right.
But put forth thine hand now, and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face.
So now what is the devil insinuating? He's letting the Lord know, all right, the stuff about, touching his finances and all his personal belongings, he can overcome that, all right, cool. But now, touch his body, affect his health, and watch him bug out and fall out this truth. Watch this. Keep reading.
And Yahweh said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life.
Read.
So went Satan forth from the presence of Yahweh, and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot unto his crown.
Right.
And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife unto him.
So now, what is taking place? I want to show you something. We getting somewhere now, right? So sometimes in your trials that you have to go through to get the kingdom, you got fire on one side, and you got what on the other side? Water. I took you somewhere for a reason, right? Because when you read, he said the road is so narrow to the city that only one man can go. When we read Ezekiel 14:14, what did the Lord tell Ezekiel? Though Daniel, though Noah, and though Job were in it, you could only save yourself through your own righteousness. And why did he mention Job? Because now when you're reading about Job, Job is showing you how through his own righteousness, even when all hell was breaking loose in his life. He had fire literally on one side, his house getting burnt up, his sheep getting burnt up, you know what I'm saying, his servants getting burnt up, and water on the other side. You got the Sabaeans, you got other nations coming and raping and robbing and destroying his land for resources. But with all that, Job kept his integrity and Job did not sin. But now, let's see who comes upon him once he gets sick and get these boils and scabs all on his body, right? Keep reading. Verse 9.
Come, verse 9. Then said his wife.
Then said who?
Then said his wife unto him, doest thou still remain thy integrity? Curse God and die.
Do what?
Curse God and die.
So in trials, sometimes in this truth, when you start going through it in the worst way, what will happen? Sometimes you will have a wife who might not fully be there yet, right? That'll be wicked. When they see these trials coming, they lose patience, they lose faith, and they say, what? Curse God and die. Right? Well, let's see what Job did. Read.
But he said unto her, thou speakest as one of the foolish women speaketh. What? Shall we receive good at the hand of Yahweh, and shall we not receive evil?
Right.
In all this did not Job sin with his lips.
So in all this, Job still didn't sin with his lips. So in your personal trials, you can't let your lips cause you to sin against the Most High, and you can't let your actions cause you to sin against the Most High. You have to keep your integrity, endure these things, and know that, hey, from the Most High will come good and blessings. You know what I'm saying? I mean, good and evil, blessings and curses, right? So now let's go to Sirach 25 and 23. So now we're going into a different portion of this thing, right? I'm going to show examples of marital trials, right? So in marital, you're going to have marital trials in this truth, right? Sirach 25, 23. Use your Bible, bro. So you're going to have marital trials in this truth. Read that.
Comes the book of Sirach, chapter 25, and verse 23.
Now start at verse 22 first. I want to show you something.
22. A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger.
So it said if a woman is out here maintaining her husband, she paying all the bills, she buying your clothes. If you want you some chips and a drink from the store, she got to buy it. This woman has to provide everything for you and maintain you. He says what?
A woman, if she maintain her husband, is full of anger.
She'll become full of anger, read.
Impudence,
right?
And much reproach.
Read.
A wicked woman obeyeth the courage, making in heavy.
So they say a wicked woman obeyeth the courage. What does that mean? A wicked woman can kill your courage. A woman, like you see what Job's wife was trying to do, right? If you allow a woman to come in and affect your courage, your integrity, it says what? She'll abate it. She'll cause you to lose courage and hope and confidence in yourself. Read.
Make it in heavy countenance and a wounded heart.
You know what?
And a wounded heart.
And she'll cause you to have a broken heart. Read.
A woman that will not comfort her husband in distress, making weak hands and feeble knees.
So in trials, sometimes a lot of brothers, you know what I'm saying, you will go through a moment to where when you marry, you stop coming around. You stop wanting to deal and do the work because why? You got a woman at home who giving you nothing but mouth every day. Giving you mouth every day, and not in a good way, in the evil way. Cussing you out the worst way, telling you you ain't this, you ain't that. You know what I'm saying? When you try to keep the commandments, she looking at you like you still the man from the world. And now it come down on your children. And what starts to happen? She created weak hands and feeble knees, right? Give me 1 Ezra 4:26. And it's just not, it's not even that so with the women as well. There's certain men who do the same thing, right? There are certain men who do the same thing. Read this.
This is 1 Ezra chapter 4 and verse 26.
Right.
Yea, many there be that run out of their wits for women.
Right.
And become servants for their sakes.
And become what?
Servants for their sakes.
So there's a lot of men who allow a wicked woman to destroy their carriage, and they'll become what? Weak hand and feeble knees. And when you read 1 Ezra 4:26, it says, yea, many there be that have run out their wits. What is your wits? Your wits is your knowledge. A lot of men that have lost knowledge and put down the Bible and stopped teaching knowledge for who? For a woman's sake. Read on.
And become servants for their sakes.
Read.
Many also have perished.
Read.
Have erred.
And have erred from this truth. Read.
And sinned.
Read.
For women.
Just for women, for the sake of women. So with that, when you think about that, there's another way that these trials can come on you, right? But also give me 1 Peter chapter 4. They show another example, right? And this goes with personal and and marital, right? Watch this. Yep, you started verse 1 till I get there.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 1. For as much then as Hamashiach Yahushua has suffered for us in the flesh,
right?
Arm yourselves likewise with the same mind.
So he said the same way that Yahushua suffered in the flesh, you got to arm yourself with the same mentality that he had. Hey man, who is my brother and my sister? Those who fear my father. Right. Who are those who going to be with me? Those who going to fear my father. Was Yahushua just hanging with the whole hood, doing God knows what? No, he had those that was around him that would what? Support the mission that he was on, be a part of the mission that he was on, and once he leave them, continue the mission and the campaign that he started, right? Read.
Arm yourselves likewise with the same mind, for he hath suffered in the flesh, hath ceased from sin.
Right.
That he no longer should live the rest of his time in the flesh to the lust of men.
To the lust of men. So we shouldn't be living our lives now that Yahushua died to us, and we have been born again in his truth to the lust of our flesh. Read.
But to the will of Yahweh.
But to the will of the Father. So we should be living our life and basing our lives off the will of the Father, even when trials come, right? But watch this. For some brothers and certain sisters in this truth, this is how your spouse will treat you. This is how your brother and your sister will treat you. If you got children, this is how they'll treat you. If you have uncles or friends, no matter who it is, this is how some people will look at you once you gain this new understanding. Read.
For the time past of our life may suffice us to have wrought the will of the Gentiles.
So what does that mean when they say that? For the past times of our life, it might have sufficed us to wrought the will of the Gentile, meaning at one point in your life, you lived your life just like the people who's living amongst you. So they say, we in Rome be as Romans, in America be as Americans, right? So when you think about that, it's saying what? Everything that these nations or countries that we reside in did, that's what we was doing. We was celebrating Easter's, New Year's, Christmas, 4th of July, Mardi Gras, anything that had to do with folly, hitting the club on Saturday, washing our car on Saturday, joining Greek fraternities, all these different things, these were certain things that we was doing and partaking in, right, Reed?
When we walk in lasciviousness,
it's just going into it, partying, sexual desires, Reed.
Lust,
we popping all the women popping all the men, women twerking, women selling body, you know what I'm saying, men paying for body, Reed.
Excess of wine,
getting drunk. We at the club getting drunk every week. This is what certain things that we used to do, Reed.
Revelings,
partying, clubbing all night long. The house of the party. When you look at this in the world, a lot of us come from that lifestyle. Some of us used to be in college partying hard. Some of us was in the world partying hard, hitting the club week in and week out. always kept a new outfit and some new shoes for the club, right, Reed?
Banquetings,
Right.
and abominable idolatries.
And abominable idolatries. What was the abominable idolatries? A lot of us come from Christian backgrounds. A lot of us come from Muslim backgrounds. A lot of us come from gang banging backgrounds. A lot of us was in fraternities, abominable idolatries. You know what I'm saying? Women screaming ski yee and men sticking their tongue out, cocking it to the left, you know what I'm saying, barking. You know what I'm saying? The Lord called these abominable idolatries. What other abominable idolatries was our people partaking in, right? A lot of our women was getting impregnated, going to kill the children, men paying for Plan Bs. We was just doing all type of madness and folly, right? Read.
Wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot.
And now the people think it's strange. So your wife, if you repent and you try to teach your wife this, she think it's strange that you don't want to go to church with her on Sunday no more. Or if you're talking to your friends, they think it's strange you're not coming to the Easter service at 3 o'clock at the church that y'all grew up in with the Easter suit. You know what I'm saying? These are the things that they count as strange, right? When you don't want to eat pork no more, you don't want to come to the family barbecue at Thanksgiving or 4th of July, right? Keep reading.
Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge?
No, you skipped the part. Read verse 4 again.
Wherein they think it strange that ye run not with them to the same excess of riot,
right,
speaking evil of you.
Doing what?
Speaking evil of you.
And some of them will begin to speak evil of you. Why? Because you're not doing the same thing you used to do no more. So now, what will start happening? You will start having trials in your marriage. You'll start having trials in your personal life because those that you once used to love, they won't accept you and love you and embrace you no more. Mm-hmm. They're going to tell you a part of a cult. Mm-hmm. What you believe in is racist. Right. They're going to say that camp you trying to join, they a hate group. Right. These are all the things that these people are going to set against you. You know what I'm saying? You're not coming to Grandma Maybelline 105th birthday, man. You know, come on, man. How many grandmas make it to 105? You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I don't give a damn. I'm not coming. You know what I'm saying? And guess what happened? Now your family got you on block. Oh, you going to need something. You just going through a phase right now. These are certain trials that what? If you're not strong and rooted and full in your integrity like Job, you will fall out because of that. Your grandma stopped answering the phone for you. Your mama stopped answering the phone for you. Mm-hmm. Guess what? Hey, man, maybe I am tripping. Maybe I am a part of a phase. Now brothers and sisters ain't seen you in 2-3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Your family got you homeless out here. You know what I'm saying? You might damn near be homeless. I know brothers and sisters in this truth that they got kicked out for this truth. Oh, you ain't coming to your birthday, you ain't coming to my birthday party. Hey, big dog, 2 weeks from now, you gotta find you somewhere else to stay at. And they mean that because why? They think it's strange that you don't run to the same excess of rioting of who? The Gentiles or the heathen, right? So with that, give me the book of Proverbs 27, verse 15. These are certain things as Israelites and as the servants of the Lord, these are the portions that we have to be a part of in this kingdom, right? Proverbs 27, verse 15. These are things that we're going to have to deal with. These are things that we're going to have to overcome, right? So you got to understand in this truth, right? We're going to be many trials. A lot of people going to think it's strange that you're not doing certain things, you're not condoning in certain things, you're not participating in certain things that you once used to participate in. So that's congregational. We went into marital. And now we're going to bring it in now to congregational, right? You're going to see congregational trials. And when you say congregational trials, it don't have to necessarily be always, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you and another brother's going against each other, right? Or you or a sister don't like the way each other talk or act. We already know about those trials, right? When you say congregational trial, it's going to be things we go through as a body of people together. So let's first show you who the congregation is in the Bible. Give me 1 Chronicles 28 and 8. 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse number 8. I want to show you who the congregation is in the Bible. And this is why we use the word congregation, right? 1 Chronicles 28 verse 28. 12 and 28, Salah. 28 and 8, Salah. My bad, brother. Go ahead. 28 verse 8.
All right, this is the book of 1 Chronicles chapter 28 and verse number 8. Mm-hmm. Now therefore, in the sight of all Israel, the congregation of Yahweh.
The who?
The congregation of Yahweh.
So the Israelites is the congregation of the Most High, right? Read.
and in the audience of our power, keep and seek for all the commandments of the Lord your God.
So this is what the congregation of God must do. This is what we're trying to do as a congregation, right? Read.
That ye may possess this good land,
right,
and leave it for an inheritance for your children after you forever.
Right. So this goes back into what? 2nd Ezra, when we talked about in 2nd Ezra chapter 7, that this land, this inheritance that is left for a man, he can't get it unless he strive lawfully and righteously for this land. And what we just read now? That David charged this to who? Solomon and them. That what? In the congregation of all Israel, we must seek and keep the commandments of God. So now let's go back to Ezra chapter 4. In the Old Testament, Ezra chapter 4. So now let's read about certain trials that our forefathers went through together as a congregation, right? Go ahead. You good. Rock it out.
Come on, this is the book of Ezra chapter 4 verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity built the temple unto the Lord God of Israel, then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power, as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither.
So it's going to be certain times when you starting to build in this truth, and you and the congregation is doing the work together. Y'all works are increasing at what? There's going to be people from the outside trying to find their way in. They're going to want to merge with you, leak with you, and put their hands in hands with you to do the work of the Lord. Right, Reed?
But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of fathers of Israel said unto them, we have nothing to do. Oh, slap. But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God.
He said, so the heathen ain't got nothing to do with this, right? Because why are the heathens really trying to come in and, tap in and see where they can help it? Because they want to infiltrate and destroy. When you look at any organization that the blacks and Hispanics have had, even in America, you think about Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? What was the one for the Hispanics? The Ephraimites. I can't think of it right now. But any organization, when you think about that, right, they always sent people in to infiltrate those different sects or nations that the Israelites put together and did what? They overthrew them. Even when you think about Malcolm X, right, they sent people amongst Malcolm X to do what? Sort him out and kill him. So when you think about this, this is why even in this work today, we don't want help from the other nations, right? Because the only thing they're going to have in mind is to come amongst us, get amongst us, find out our strength and our weakness, and what? Destroy us, right? So keep reading.
But we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, have commanded us.
Right? Watch this verse 4 going to explain it, right? So these will be certain things that's going to come at us as a congregation. Read.
Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
And troubled them in their building, right? Read.
And hired counselors against them.
And here what?
Hired counselors against them.
So sometimes they'll send people into your community or into your congregation to do what? Infiltrate and frustrate everything y'all got going. They'll send people in there to start disruptions and confusion intentionally, right, Reed?
To frustrate their purpose.
To do what?
Frustrate their purpose.
To frustrate the common goal of y'all coming together. On normal days, y'all will be coming together, building, fellowshipping, shaking the hand at the devil, right? And now what has started to happen? Now, all of a sudden, you got strife in the community. Brothers over here wondering, hey, how we even end up into it? And then next thing you know, a person go over and walk clean up out the door. You know what I'm saying? So you got to know and understand also that what? Some people hire other people to come in and frustrate what we got going. Now jump to verse 24. So it said that the other people who saw us building would try to strengthen our hands. So in this truth, when you coming up and you join the organization, some of our camps and our groups, man, you're going to have people trying to frustrate us and weaken our hands and start to hinder us from doing the work. Right. Start strife, start drama, right? Read.
Then seized the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem.
So with all the pressure that they was applying to our forefathers, right? This is what took place here. We reading about how, you know what I'm saying, Zerubbabel and Joshua, when them started to build the house of the Lord. Then through, you know what I'm saying, crafty counsels of the heathens amongst them. They sent counselors in, they frustrated the work, they weakened their hands, and then they went and got a letter sent out that what? Caused them to stop doing the work, right? Watch this, read.
So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
Right, so now go to Haggai, go to the book of Haggai. So now let's see what happened once the work stops. Let's see what the Lord starts to do to the people once the work stops. And this should be a motivation and example for us to do what? Not stop doing the work. Do not stop doing the work, right? Haggai, go ahead.
Comes the book of Haggai, chapter 1, and verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month.
Right? So now, when you think about what we just read in Ezra chapter 4, right? In Ezra chapter 4, it said, then ceased the work of the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So you know it now. We lining this up now. Read that in Haggai again.
In the 2nd year of Darius the king. In the 2nd year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, in the 1st day of the month.
So this is in the same year. Read.
Came the word of Yahweh by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel.
Unto who?
Unto Zerubbabel.
Read.
The son of Salatiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, saying, thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, this people say, the time is not come, the time that the Lord's house should be built. So
there will be certain people amongst us who will allow certain trials and errors that come upon them that will stop them from putting their hands on the plow from doing the work of the Lord, right? Watch this.
Then came the word of the Lord by Haggai the prophet, saying, is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your cecil houses, and this house lie waste? So then the Most High will send prophets like Haggai amongst you to say, when you're going through things and when times get tough, is this the time for you to close your Bible up, go back home, sit in your nice 3-bedroom house, the 75-inch TV on the wall, and watch Netflix all day, while what? The Most High's house lie waste. What is the temple that the Lord wants to be built now in these last days? It's the Israelites. We are the church. We are the temple, right? Read. Now therefore, thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
So in times like this and efforts like this, the Most High tells us to do what? Consider your ways. Consider what you might do, what you are doing. Is this detrimental to the rising or building or the establishing of your nation, right? Read on.
Ye have sown much, and
right.
Bring in little.
And then when you start neglecting from doing the work of the congregation, what the Lord say? You sown much, so it's a job. You will be putting hours on hours on hours in, but what? And bring in what?
Oh, slow. You have sown much and bring in little.
And you bring in little income, bring in little resources to your house to make your house say suffice, right? Watch this.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
And you start to eat food, and you realize there's not enough groceries coming in the house to suffice your household, right? Read.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Read.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And ye have earned wages to put it into a bag with holes.
And guess what? When you get income, now your income going to light bills, car notes, insurance, water bills, trash bills, child support. You name it, claim it. All our money is going to these different things, right? Read.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, consider your ways.
Right. So now, when you look at it, these are things that happen to our community. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, a lot of us go through hard times because why? We be too set and focused on making sure our personal lives be good and the work of the Lord get put on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? When the devil try to infiltrate us, and now you teaching on the street corner, and now a person from your job see it who don't like what you're bringing out. Now they show it to HR, and now your job telling you, you keep doing this, hey, we're going to have to get you out of here. So now what do? Man, come on, bro, this is my bread and my butter. I can't, man. Now you stop coming to camp, you stop doing the work because you feel like what? If you stop doing it, your money will start increasing again. But what does the Lord do? The Lord said, all right, since you want to play that route, now I'm going to increase, you know what I'm saying, your monthly finances and expenses. And now I'm going to make it to where you ain't got no choice but to consider your ways and come back and do this truth. These are certain things also as well that will come on us as a congregation when you're trying to do the work. Keep reading.
Thus said the Lord, of hosts, consider your ways.
Right.
Go up to the mountain and bring wood.
Right.
And build the house.
And do what?
And build the house.
And so the Lord is saying, hey man, with all this stuff that's going on amongst y'all, because when you look at this, right, when Haggai is saying this, why is Haggai using these certain examples? Because the people at that time that was around, Zerubbabel, Joshua, Ezra was around at that time, all these people started knowing that they was catching hell, they was going through it. It wasn't enough food, wasn't enough resources, wasn't enough water. People weren't making enough wages. And the Lord had to tell them through the prophet Haggai to consider their ways. And once he told them to consider their ways and they considered their ways, they had to do what? Go to the mountain, go get me some wood, and get back to building my house. Don't let fear or what you might lose cause you not to do what? Finish building my house, right? Read.
And I will take pleasure in it.
Right.
And I will be glorified, said the Lord.
Right. And so now read, watch what they do. Watch what they do after that, right? Verse 12.
Verse 12. Then Zerubbabel, the son of Shalatiel, and Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, with all the remnant of the people, obeyed the voice of the Lord their God.
He said they did what?
Obeyed the voice of the Lord their God.
And this is another side note, and this is why when you hear the prophets talk to you, when you hear men of the Lord speaking to you, don't look at the individual, look at the message, because the Most High didn't come down and talk to them. This was Haggai, but what did they say?
They obeyed the voice of the Lord their God, and the words of Haggai the prophet, as the Lord their God had sent him.
Right.
And the people did fear the Lord.
Right.
Then spake Haggai, the Lord's messenger, in the Lord's message unto the people, saying, I am with you, saith Yahweh.
Watch this.
And Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Zerubbabel, the son of Shalatiel, governor of Judah, and the spirit of Joshua, the son of Josedek, the high priest, and the spirit of all the remnant of the people. And they came and did work in the house of the Lord of hosts, their God.
Right, now jump to Ezra, go back to Ezra chapter 5 and verse 1.
It's the book of Ezra, chapter 5, verse 1. Then the prophets, Haggai the prophet, and Zechariah the son of Iddo, prophesied unto the Jews that were in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel.
Right, because why? When you just read it, Haggai, the Most High stirred up their spirit. Haggai gave them the rebuke, and he also exhorted them. And what happened? They stirred their spirit up, and they went and grabbed their wood and started rebuilding the house of the Lord. Read.
Even unto them. Then rose up Zerubbabel, the son of Shalatiel, and Jeshua, Shalatiel, and Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, and began to build the house of God, which is at Jerusalem. And with them were the prophets of God helping them.
Right.
At the same time came to them Tanakh, governor of this side the river, and Shethat-Boznah, and their companions, and said thus unto them, who had commanded you to build this house and to make up this wall?
Watch this.
Then said we unto them after this manner, what are the names of the men that make this building?
Watch this.
But the eye of their God was upon the elders of the Jews, that they could not cause them to cease,
right, till
the matter came to Darius. And then they returned answer by letter concerning this matter.
Right. And so when you look at this, right, you look at how our forefathers had obligations and trials come upon them and tried to hinder them from building the wall. And once they stopped building the wall, what happened? The Lord got angry with them and brought judgment on us through different examples, from finances, through resources, from hunger, from clothing, from certain materials. And after that, we had to receive a message from Haggai telling us to consider our ways, know that the Lord is with us, and to do what? Go build the temple. Go do the work. No matter what happens, go do the work. And sometimes once we overcome these trials, what would the Lord do? He'll stir the spirit up of the camp. So it might not be this particular situation, but there will come times when the congregation or the camp that you with, might receive trials amongst us. But what must we do? We can't stop doing the work. We have to overcome those trials, consider our ways, get in the book of the Lord where his message is, and do what? Get our spirit stirred up to do what? Continue to push the truth and do the work, right? So we're almost done. Give me the book of Acts chapter 5, verse 41.
Comes the book of Acts chapter 5 and verse 41.
right?
And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
So when you think about our forefathers, right? Matter of fact, let's jump up on it, man. Yep. It's verse 39. Read that.
Come on, verse 39. But if it be of God, ye cannot overthrow it,
right?
Lest happily ye be found even to fight against God.
Watch this.
And to him they agreed.
Watch this.
And when they had called the apostles and beaten them,
So sometimes in this truth, there might take times where brothers might have to get physical. You might get beat for the word. Read.
they commanded that they should not speak in the name of Yahushua, and let them go.
Right.
And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
And he said they departed away from the council what? Rejoicing. So when trials come upon us as a nation of people or as a congregation, the Lord, and you see our forefathers, they rejoiced in this thing. But why did they rejoice? Read.
And daily in the temple.
No, read. They rejoicing that they were counted.
And they departed from the presence of the council, rejoicing that they were counted worthy to suffer shame for his name.
Read.
And daily in the temple and in every house, they ceased not to teach and preach Hamashiach Yahushua.
So even though they got beaten for this word and beaten for the name of Yahushua and told not to do it, they still did it. They got beat, they rejoiced in it, and day in and day out, they continued to teach the name of the Lord Yahushua, man. You know what I'm saying? Get the book of Job, chapter 4 and verse number 3. Book of Job, chapter 4, and verse number 3. We almost done.
Because the book of Job, chapter 4, and verse 3. Behold, thou hast instructed many, and thou hast strengthened the weak hands.
Right. So it's some of us who has instructed many, and we have built up the weak hands. Read.
The words have upholden him that was failing.
Right.
That was fallen. And thou hast strengthened the feeble knees.
So now, at the end of all, you got personal trials you're gonna overcome that you done taught people how to overcome. You done have people come to you with marital trials. You gave them the best advice. You know what I'm saying? You done helped your congregation come through certain trials. But now what? Read.
But now it is come upon thee.
And now when it comes upon you, we summon up the whole matter at hand. This is to the servants portion. This is the servants portion, the Israelites portion. Read.
But thou faintest.
But when the trials come on you, are you going to faint? So when it comes to personal trials in your life, marital trials in your life, or congregational trials that might come up on all of us, when they come up on you, are you going to faint? Read.
It toucheth thee, and thou art troubled.
And if it touched you, are you going to be troubled to where you ready to stop doing the work? Read.
Is not this thy fear, thy confidence, thy hope, and the uprightness of thy ways?
So right, you can't let this be fear. You got to be confident. You got to be upright. You got to keep your integrity like Job. Job didn't curse the Lord and die. Job didn't sin. Even in his words, he didn't sin. Right? Keep reading.
Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished, being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off?
Right. So with that, give me the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4 and verse 1. So with this, what are we saying? In this life and in this walk of knowing you an Israelite, you're going to have 3 trials come up on you. You're going to have personal, marital, and congregational trials. You can help everybody. Tell them, oh, you just got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do that. But when it comes upon you as well, you got to be willing to overcome that. You got to be willing to what? Hey, take the punches as they was given, right? So watch this, Ecclesiastes 4 and verse 1.
Comes the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4 and verse 1. So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun.
Read.
And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comfort. And on the side of their oppressors there was power. Right. But they had no comfort.
Right, so watch this. Watch this. So now when you think about this, what is King Solomon telling you? In the world today, it's going to be much oppression. None of us run from this oppression. Just because we figure out we the Israelites now, and we know that the salvation is ours if we keep the commandments. That don't mean that the oppression and the affliction and, you know what I'm saying, all these many other things not going to come to us in this walk, right? So now, give me Galatians 6 and 2. We almost done. The book of Galatians chapter 6 verse 2. So in all this, take and understand and know we all going to go through trials, no matter what type of trial it is, but we got the recipe to overcome. We got the story to see how our forefathers overcame them. So what should we do? We should take these things, take these trials cheerfully and keep fighting. Galatians 6:2.
Come to the book of Galatians chapter 6, verse 2.
Read.
Bear ye one another's burdens.
Do what?
Bear ye one another's burdens.
Right. So within this, we got to learn to bear one another's burdens. Right. Read.
And so fully the law of Christ.
Right.
For if a man think himself to be something,
Right.
when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself.
Right. Give me Romans 12:10. Give me Romans 12:10. So with this is my exhortation and motivation to brothers and sisters when you first come into this truth. We got to make sure we stay around the brothers and sisters who, fearing the Lord, trying to keep his commandments, trying to get the kingdom, so that when these trials come upon us, together we can overcome them. Romans 12:10.
So it's Romans 12 and verse 10. Be kindly affectionate one to another,
Right.
with brotherly love, in honor, preferring one another.
And we have to prefer one another. When we go through certain things, these are the people you're supposed to prefer. Don't prefer no worldly counselor to your friend or your brother in this truth who going through something. Prefer one another, because this is what we studied this Bible for, right? Read.
Not slothful in business,
Right.
fervent in spirit,
Right.
serving the Lord,
Right.
rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation,
And patient in our tribulation, read.
continuing instant in prayer.
And continuing instant in prayer for one another. So with that, I pray that this, exhortation was mighty. It was righteous for brothers. You can reflect on it and understand, as being a servant of the Lord and the Israelite, the portion for us to get the kingdom is for us to endure hardships and trials, constantly endure, continue to keep our hands on the plow and do the work like our forefathers did when they rebuilt the temple during the time of Zerubbabel, Joshua, and Ezra, and the prophet Haggai. That what? The Most High might bless us and return us back to our inheritance that he gave us through our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I pray that brothers and sisters be blessed, and until next time, Shalom.
Shalom.
Repenting on a daily basis. You better thank the Most High some of us brothers repented, because we probably be robbing you niggas and checking your